If you want to become a stronger runner through this off season, these are the 3 things that you'll want to prioritize during this time. Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm the personal trainer and running coach at Kathletics. Here at Kathletics, we're all about meeting you where you are in your fitness so you can approach hybrid training in a sustainable way. Runners approach the off season in many different ways, but in general, I would recommend taking this time to strengthen your body, increase your muscle mass, and really focus on recovery, mobility, and really fueling for your activities. But with the goal of increasing your strength over the off season, these are the 3 things you're going to want to prioritize. Number 1, building up your strength training volume. So this is an overall general statement that we want to take the off season to increase that strength training volume and decrease the cardiovascular training volume. So that doesn't mean that you completely stop running or you completely stop cross training, but it does mean that your strength training increases if you were doing 1 time or 2 times during the in season, so race season. Now we're going to be increasing that to say 2 to 4 days per week. Now this is going to allow you that hypertrophy or that muscle building season that you're wanting to achieve in order to be stronger on the trails, faster on the trails, etc. once it comes to 2026 in season again. So if you're increasing your frequency up to 4 sessions per week, you could consider keeping that all full body, or if you wanted to split that up into upper lower, so you're still getting your frequency throughout the week, but you have more time in between each session in order to recover. During those strength training sessions, you want to focus on, say, 4 to 6 movements. So we're not going wild and crazy just because it's off season. We're not suddenly adding 12 to 16 exercises in a session, but we are still keeping it focused 4 to 6 movements. And of course, if we need to identify any extras with isolation exercises or core exercises, etc., that might be the time to add a little bit more to the program. This takes us into number 2. So number 2 is going to be addressing any weaknesses. So during this off season, we want to take whatever we learned from this previous in season. So during the race season, if you had any flare-ups, if you had any minor injuries, or if you had major injuries, this would be a time to really focus on that and figure out what is going on and what's the root cause, how can we fix it, and move forward so we can come back feeling stronger and even better next season. So for example, if your ankle or your hip or your knee, one of those things or all of those things were bothering you at some point during your training, now is the time to focus on, okay, where is this coming from? Personally, I would recommend going to a PT, a physical therapist, to start figuring out what the root cause is. If you already know that and you know how to train this, so say it's already happened in the past, let's make sure that we have a plan of attack in order to get it sorted out or know how to manage it if it does happen again in the future. Overall, we want to use this off-season time to strengthen all those areas that are impacting where you are having those flare-ups or where you're having any troubles. This brings us to number 3. So we want to make sure that we are approaching this off season by addressing the whole body. So you need more than just your lower body in order to succeed in running. We want to make sure that we have rotation because you are rotating when you are running. We are doing a cross body exercise where the opposites are working together. So we want to make sure that we're having rotation. We want to make sure that we are working the upper body, we're working the core, and we're doing this all in different planes of motion. And of course, we want to make sure that we are including the legs and not just your glutes and quads. Your legs are more than that. We want to make sure we're getting the whole entire hip complex, as well as your hamstrings, your hip flexors, your calves, the front of your shins. We want to make sure that all of these are being addressed in one way or another. Now, does that mean that you need to go do 8 different calf raise exercises? Absolutely not. But we want to make sure that we're moving in multiple planes of motion. We're getting the whole body involved in all of our sessions, especially if you're focused on full body sessions. But if you're not and you're doing that upper lower split, like I had mentioned earlier, we are including all of these within those sessions. Of course, you're going to have phases throughout the off season. So the off season for some people is generally 3 to 4 plus months. Again, it depends on what your race schedule is like, or if you have events coming up. But in general, you want to take this time to really focus on building the base that you need in strength and power and endurance. So then when you switch gears from your off-season training and switch over to focusing more on running and that strength training volume reduces, you can just maintain. You already have a great foundation to build off of, and you can just focus on running as your main sport and have your strength training be a support for you. If you have a race coming up in spring, now is the time that you need to be focusing on the strength training and the aerobic base building. If that is you, make sure to click the link in the description in order to join one of our hybrid training programs, because that's what it's built for. It's built for you in order to build the strength and have you set up for success when it comes to race time. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, be sure to like, subscribe, and then we'll see you in the next one.